Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabanson, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see it. So today, folks, we have a very interesting show for you guys. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel, and be sure to also follow me on Instagram. My handle is CTABANZ. Make sure y'all follow me on there. That's the easiest way if you want to reach me. So today, we have some pretty interesting story, right? So as you guys know, the news broke about a month or so ago that Michael Jordan was going to be returning back to the NBA, but not in the capacity that we saw him before playing games. But now he was going to come back and actually talk about the game. And a lot of NBA fans were super excited. There was a lot of electricity going through the sports community that they're finally going to hear from Michael Jordan, the GOAT, right? So there was a lot of excitement around that. We even produced a show that basically reported what he was purportedly going to get paid. Even the New York Post posted about it, talking about he may be getting paid $40 million per annum, right? So we know that. And in the midst of all of this, there's the issue with the NBA ratings. The NBA has been struggling with ratings. Recently, Adam Silver tried to sort of explain it away, where he's saying that, hey, you know what? Most of the games that the NBA, puts on nights, we are the most viewed show in comparison to other shows. But if you look at shows in the past, decades in the past, yeah, the games were getting a lot of views, but they weren't getting the most viewers per night compared to other shows that were running concurrently or at that same around the same time. And then he started talking about the social media footprint of the NBA, a whole bunch of stuff. And a lot of people were kind of like, okay, I don't know what's going on here. But then he recently did a sit down on the Dan Patrick Show. And he was on the Dan Patrick Show. And this show was specifically centered on Michael Jordan's role for NBC. Very, very good conversation. I suggest you guys go check it out. It was published 2 days ago, about a 17-minute talk. And he revealed a lot, right? He revealed a lot in terms of the NBA's thinking, their strategy moving into the future. Very, very insightful segment there. And I suggest you guys go take a look at it. So when he was on this show, Dan Patrick essentially asked him, how did this whole thing come about? Of Michael Jordan deciding to come back and now basically comment on what he's seeing in the NBA world. And then Adam Silver began to talk, and he then began to reveal the private conversations that he and MJ were having behind the scenes and what the strategy could be for Michael Jordan coming back and how it could help uplift the NBA, who frankly right now is struggling if we're talking about things from a rating standpoint. But before we even get into what the commissioner had to say, today's video is brought to you by our sponsor, Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports with over 10 million members. Prize Picks makes it easy to get real money action on the sports and players you love. You pick more or less on at least 2 for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. For example, this week on Prize Picks, I'm looking at the upcoming NBA schedule and selecting Stephen Curry for more than 29 points and Kevin Durant for more than 27 points and Anthony Davis for more than 12 rebounds and Luka Doncic for more than 8 assists. If you're like me and you like to play it safe, you'll love Prize Picks' new feature, Flex Plays. It's the safest way to play. You can still cash out even if your lineup isn't perfect. Plus, you can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. On top of this, Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money as quick as in 15 minutes. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we want to do now, I want to play what he had to say. I'm talking about Commissioner Adam Silver as it pertains to Michael Jordan and his return to the NBA. And then want to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to his comments here.
How involved were you with NBC bringing in Michael Jordan?
Not at all. You mean just now? There's just this announcement they're bringing him back? They told me they were going to try, and I said, good luck. I honestly didn't think he was going to do it. it took us, as you know, decades to convince him to do the documentary, The Last Dance, which came out during the pandemic and ended up still, I think, is one of them, widely viewed on Netflix. But he didn't, he didn't want to do that for a long time. We had the footage, and I know there were other inquiries over the years, and I think for whatever reason, he was ready to do it now. I think he has, of course, incredibly fond memories of NBC. I don't think that's lost on anyone. He has, as you well know, some of the very same people are there. People like John Miller, who he had a relationship from back all those years ago. Mark Lazarus was still, there, just switched over to the other side of the operation. But, so I think like he had those relationships. And again, I didn't discourage them, but I was surprised he said yes.
Yeah. Still trying to figure out what his role is going to be. Now, do you follow up? Are you curious about what role Jordan is going to play with the upcoming camp?
Yeah, no, I didn't know in advance, but that, they told me what their idea was for him in that role. And I think that they're still working through that. I think that, I spoke to Michael about it. I mean, he's excited about it. I think for him, it means he's got to stay current with the game. Obviously, he's a small owner still in Charlotte, but he's so passionate about it. I mean, we talk about it all the time. I mean, he wants the game to be played the right way. He's still got a huge business around the game with the Jordan brand. But I think more importantly, he watches a lot of basketball, and he knows it's what defines him still. And so I think fans are going to enjoy hearing his take, on the modern league. I think one of the things that I'm excited about in terms of NBC coming back, and this goes back to the Dick Ebersol days, is that I remember that sign behind Dick's desk that said storytelling. I mean, I think they're still some of the best at it, and I think telling stories around the game. I mean, even right now, I mean, that's sort of this narrative out there about small markets, whatever else. I mean, credible stories around Shea and Tyrese and Pascal Siakam. I mean, it's my job too. We first met when I was at NBA Entertainment, but to tell those stories to fans, I think that's what draws them in. I mean, there's the lovers of pure basketball, and I think the basketball is fantastic, but you also have to show how multidimensional these players are and, explain to them the storylines, the conflict on the floor, and nobody does that better than NBC.
So you heard what he had to say. First of all, let me just tell you guys what I thought as I was hearing that for the first time. I was surprised. I shouldn't be surprised, but then again, I was surprised. I was surprised that him and Jordan communicate. I mean, it sounds stupid, right? Like, yeah, of course, the commissioner of the league and Michael Jordan would communicate, but I was surprised, right? Because you think of Jordan like he's over there and then everything is happening over here. You don't think that all of these things are interconnected. But he also spoke about the fact how, excuse me, they had spent years trying to convince Jordan to even talk basketball and do the Last Dance docuseries, which really says that to me that Jordan is a very reserved person in terms of he doesn't really like to put himself out there, which then begs the question, well, why now? Why now? And what I think is obviously some of the things that Adam Silver said are true, and I agree with him. I also believe that Jordan wants to give a different take on things. And Jordan is one of those people that believes the game should be played in a certain type of way. And I think that he wants to kind of give his own take on how things should be. I also know that Jordan is not a fan of some of these ridiculous narratives that go on today. How do I know this? You remember when the conversation was being had about whether or not Stephen Curry was better than Michael Magic Johnson as a point guard. And then Stephen A. Smith read on air a text message that he received from Michael Jordan in the moment, refuting the people that are saying this, which lets me know that Jordan is abreast to some of the things that are being said out here and wants to give his own take. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that because everybody seems to be having an opinion on how things are going. LeBron James has his own podcast, for God's sakes, where he's giving his views, which now seems like on a weekly, daily basis, right? Depending on how they publish clips from his show. So you have that aspect of it as well. But I also know that in their minds, they understand that, look, having the greatest player to ever play the sport, the biggest draw that the sport has ever seen come back and be affiliated with the sport in any kind of way is going to be a boon for the NBA. This must have been a part of their you must know this, right? Because essentially what they're doing is they're using, think about it, NBC is using Michael Jordan to launch an entire network again that is focused on sports. Think about, they're coming back into the space in terms of the role that they play with the NBA, and they're using Jordan because, mind you, they have other former players that are going to be a part of it. And we know some of them, and they don't really move the needle, if we're being honest. But Jordan does. And if he's able to move the needle for an entire network, imagine what he can do in terms of bringing fans back to the game. Because of the fact of the matter is this, fans have left the game. They've left the game. There's just no two ways about it. And we can sit down and kind of try to analyze why that's occurred. But the fact is, people are not viewing the way that they used to. And Jordan represents a huge fan base, not only for his own personal fans, but his era, right? So he's going to bring a lot more eyeballs back to the game. And trust me, that's really what it's all about. That's why I'm suggesting you guys go sit down and listen to that interview, because Adam Silver explains the strategy that the NBA is trying to deploy in terms of getting people on social media, getting these people that watch clips and all of that, these sound bites, etc., and translating them into viewers that watch games. It's one of the reasons you see where you have these live watch parties, where you have NBA players and they'll watch a game live and people watch them to try to encourage people to watch the game live. So therefore, you want to hear what this guy's saying, that guy's saying. So this is all they're doing now. I would never do something like, because I simply don't have that time, unless you're paying me a sweet bag. But for me to sit down and watch a game while you're watching me and I'm breaking down again, now you gotta pay me something better for that. Like that's a lot. But you get the point. He explained all of this, right? He explained. I knew this was going on, but I didn't understand that this was a strategy that was being deployed from the top of the pyramid. So look, I think it's a very insightful interview. I think Michael Jordan has a real role to play here. And I think that the NBA and Adam Silver are going to try to capitalize on this to the best of their abilities. And obviously, they would know what's going on at NBC because they're the ones that have the TV deal together. I just don't know why it never occurred to me before. But anyway, these are my thoughts. What I want to know from you guys is, what do you think about this information? Do you think it'll work? Do you think it won't work? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you on the next show. Peace.